Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Nikki here and it's flip through time again, this time for my memory keeping, which I do in a B6 Stalogy. I've been at this for a couple of years now, love it, and will definitely be doing exactly the same thing next year. I'll do things a little bit differently. I've got some fun things I'm going to try, but generally speaking, I started doing this, I've kept it simple, and I've kept it up. And that's, of course, the most important thing. Now, normally with my monthly spreads, I like to do an intro page. And I usually do, let's have a look. Let's go back to one that's more traditional, lots of stickers, okay, that sort of thing. But decided to try something a bit different, and this is more of a collage arrangement. Felt nice and wintry to me. The colours were perfect for that. Got a bit of coppery coloured paint and stuff on it, which I loved. So might definitely be doing a few more of those. We shall see. So we're starting July. Now, this is one way I've been doing it, where I've done something collagey or decorative on this side of the page and then just used one page for all my memory keeping. Sometimes that works out, other times it doesn't. If I end up with too much to write down, of course, I run out of space. But when I do this layout, I know I can tell you honestly that I started it later in the week because I didn't have time or didn't make time, and I knew I could condense it down onto one page. So I made it work for that week. Normally I like to do them over 2 pages, with the general happenings, even though some days are pretty boring, that's okay. But I can usually fill the 2 pages quite nicely. Again, I'm in collage mode here. These are all little images I got out of magazines. I have stacks of things I've cut out of magazines, and I really need to be using them up. So that's what I did here. Definitely sort of a little bit of a winter color tones for that week. Then the next week, having a big cleanup, I have found all sorts of interesting things. For example, I found all these stars and I went, what am I going to do with them? Do I throw them out? Oh no, we threw them down the middle of the page, and that is what I used for this week's spread. It was quite a busy week. I've written in there quite a bit and easily filled, of course, the 2 pages. Just add a little bit of washi tape as well. That's the thing with this. There's no rules. You put down whatever you want, or I put down whatever I like. I don't care. Sometimes I use washi stickers, sometimes just things cut out of a magazine. This was a forecast of a very cold week, and when I sat down to do it, I went, oh, I need black and white things. So I got out my collage fodder folder and a few other little bits and pieces and just went with that black on white or black on cream thing. Seems pretty wintry to me. Then I did a similar thing for August. We went collaging. We also did some stamping because I had been going through some stamps, and I've got this lovely set with paints and paintbrush, so I decided to use that. This was another one where I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll just use 1 page. And I did get it to fit in, but I do think I maybe do forget to sort of write things down sometimes. Then I participated in a challenge. I think this one was called Seek, Gather and Create, something like that. And of course, you had to find and include certain elements. So this is very collagey, watercolory type spread. I definitely want to do more of this type of thing next year. And the main reason being, have a look how much. We've only got 3 months of the year left, but I still have a lot of pages. So there's no reason why I can't do some more collagey things. Definitely if I find more challenges, because I find it easier to be creative when I'm given a list of things I have to include, or a list of a way to do it, or something like that. If I just say to myself, I want to sit down and collage, I usually just sit there and I tap my nails on the table because I can, and I find it hard sometimes to make a start. So love it when little challenges pop up, and I think next year I will definitely look for more of those so that I can make sure I use up more of those pages. Then, of course, I can never go for too long without a coffee week. Coffee washi, really all of this was actually just done with a few different varieties of coffee washi. Love doing that. This was the next week of the Seek, Gather and Create challenge. Love how that turned out. Lots of pretty flowers on that page and some stamping. Definitely you can tell the winter vibe is here. I've used this lovely sort of dull plum coloured washi and just some little flowers, but not really pretty flowers, so that they're a little bit more wintry. But I do love a spread like that. I find that very appealing, just like the ones I sometimes do in my planner. Another Seek, Gather and Create. Obviously this involved the ocean somewhere, and I had this beautiful sheet of paper that I had done, and I loved doing this one because anything nautical and I'm in. So that was a great one. Then again, trying to use up my stash. I had this sheet of stickers from GP Studio. They have closed down quite a while ago. And again, they were just sitting there. So I thought, hang on a minute, let's use that. Not so much for my planner, but in my journaling. I had these day things, Saturday, Sunday. So I used all those and then used up all the little deco pieces. And again, that was then another sheet, gone in the bin, finished. Love that. Seek, Gather and Create, week 3. I know we had to include something orange, and I was so happy when I found this in a magazine because, and the other thing that was so difficult, we had to have a deer. And obviously in Australia, we as a rule we have deers, but they're farmed. I don't think you ever find a deer out in the wild unless it's escaped from a farm. And oh my gosh, I found it so hard to find a deer to use, but thankfully I did find one in a Daphne's Diary. They often come to my rescue, so that was fabulous. And lo and behold, I have been cleaning through magazines so that I can get rid of them and just keep the bits that I want, because when I move I don't want to take them all with me. And what did I find? 3 deers. Obviously I didn't pick up those magazines when I was hunting, but anyway, we found a deer, a very pretty little one, so that was great. And then September, I went back to the very traditional thing of lots of stickers for my intro to the month, mainly because I had so many stickers in these colour schemes, pink and lilac and that. Honestly, I just had so many stickers, so I'm more than happy to use up a collection. I love how that turned out. There's just so many lovely little pretty bits on that page. Then I'm trying to invite spring to come in, like let's have lots of flowers and things. And I went to this fabulous sushi place, and I was just absolutely in love with their packaging. This is, of course, what your chopsticks came in. Have a look how cute that is. And then my little sushi roll that I purchased came in this gorgeous bag. And so I got my sushi roll out so carefully so as that I didn't ruin this bag. And then I just tipped it in. I think I cut a little bit off the bottom because it was a bit too long, but that's okay. I didn't know what to do with it, but I couldn't throw it in the bin. So I tipped it in there. Then, of course, I think this is the final week of Seek, Gather and Create. Done quite a bit of paint splattering and having fun with that. I do love doing things like this. It's fun. Then I found one sheet that had these nautical things on it, so I decided to use up that sheet. Again, another sheet in the bin. This is a great way to use up leftover stickers. Then we had obviously the Queen passed away, which was very sad. So I did happen to have a couple of pics of her. So I popped that down in there. And then, of course, I'm literally sitting waiting for the phone call to say that my father has gained his wings. So that was a very tough week. And I found this image, and honestly, that is really how I felt. I felt like just curling up in a ball and hoping life would go away for a while. But there's no point not journaling the tough things. It was unbelievably sad, and I don't enjoy having to do it. But you do. I think it's what's the point of keeping a journal if you don't include the tough things? So I actually did this quite late in the piece. I couldn't do it that week. I just couldn't. So I didn't touch this for a little while, and then I backfilled it. Because obviously, again, it's very important that you do include these things. And I was very grateful to find a sticker book that had these beautiful green stickers for Dad's favourite colour and very appropriate words. So, yeah, not fun, but look, it's what happened, and I think that's a lovely way of dealing with that week. And then I did do a spread with a few things that remind me of my daddy. Picture of him at the beach. It's our happy place. He was born in Germany, but he came to Melbourne, took a job as a hotel manager. Mum followed. They got married. Then I was born. We lived overseas in 5-star hotels. I had a very adventurous childhood, I can tell you. And then there's a couple of things, obviously, that represent or can be used to represent someone passing. Aperol Spritz and Campari were definitely two of Dad's favourite drinks, and I couldn't believe it when I found this in a magazine. That was like perfect. He was a wine collector because he was in the restaurant/hotel industry, so collecting wine was his hobby. He was a fitness fanatic. He was still going to the gym at 87 years of age. He loved playing golf and tennis, and he did slowly give those things away in the last few years, but he was a fitness fanatic, and I think that's had dementia not come into play, he would still be here. He was still able to get around he never used a walking stick or anything. Unfortunately, his brain decided it didn't want to play anymore. So yes, definitely keeping fit is a worthy pastime. So that's just a little memory spread I did of my father. Then the next week again, still wanted to use the green, and I found this. This isn't actually an ad. This is part of an ad for healthy wraps, but I just loved the green imagery, and again, Dad's favourite colour, so I popped that down. And it was also AFL Grand Final week, and my team is not the Cats, but I happily watched them absolutely destroy Sydney in the final, so I thought that better go in there. And this is the final week of September. Now, if you watched my last video, my planner video, this is what was left on that sheet, that spread I did with the highlighters and things. These bits were also on that sheet. So I finished that sheet up and stuck them down on this week. And it's Hello October, so we're not going to go any further. There's some interesting things already happened in October, but I will show you when I do my final flip through for 2022. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this. Maybe it's inspired you to think about doing some simple, fun, decorative memory keeping. Maybe put it on your to-do list for next year if you don't already do something like this. And until next time, please stay safe and stay healthy. Bye for now.